So hello everyone and welcome to this vlog. I am Katie from Starlight and I'm making this vlog really because we're in this time of such deep change and such a core change, and I'm really feeling this process of transition happening inside myself, and I'm sure many of you are also feeling it. And I just felt called to share with you the concepts and the ideas and the things that are really helping me through this process. So the first thing that I've found is that throughout the winter, but it really happened after the winter solstice, this need for space and this creation of space that just started to happen around me. For example, we're in Japan, working out here for the third year, and usually we're so busy, and this time it's just not the case. There's loads of time. There's not the usual commitments and things that are happening. The timetable is not filling up, and it's really feeling like the universe is giving us this space, and that need for space and that sense of space is also happening on an internal level. So for example, I'm feeling the need to slow my meditations down, to slow my thoughts down, to really just be spacious in everything that I do. And I was thinking about this and I was like, gosh, of course, we're at the start of this whole new cycle of our paths. We're in this whole new energy that is 2018. 2018, lots and lots of people and guides are talking about the fact that it's a real deep feminine energy and a feminine awakening. And through all of the feminine work I've done, the womb workshops, the courses, everything I've done, whenever it's feminine focused, it always begins with space. It always begins with the womb. And when I realised that, I was like, oh, okay, it's okay. You know, at first I was kind of freaking out a bit, because I was like, why has everything gone so quiet? Why am I feeling so unmotivated? Like, you know, my kind of 3D brain wasn't very okay with this spacious thing. And just accepting that this feminine journey that we are on, whether we are men or women or priesties, unity beings, this side of our feminine selves that is awakening within us, and this collective feminine journey that is happening now has to begin with space, because that is the way of the feminine. That is the way, and actually the best way to kind of surrender into this time is to go, yeah, okay, space, it's okay. I don't need to know everything right now. I don't need to understand everything right now. I can honour myself by saying no to things right now. I can slow my meditations down. And what's happening when I'm slowing my meditations down is it's really allowing me to get into deep contact with my intentions and with myself, and it's really allowing me a chance to listen to myself and check in about everything and find out if it's still in alignment with me, if it's still right for me. Because, like I said, we're in this time of massive transition, and our consciousness is like a portal at the moment, and loads of stuff is releasing, and loads of stuff is being received. And so when I'm giving myself space, I'm finding out that actually some of the things that used to really work for me are no longer working for me. I'm finding that the way I'm channeling is different. I'm finding that some of the things I thought I wanted, I don't want anymore. I'm finding that the way I'm meditating is different. I'm just finding out different things about myself. It's like everything is starting over, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm having to let go of. There's a lot of stuff that I'm also having to welcome in. And this was the second wisdom that's really come through for me in the last few weeks, and this actually came through from my guides in the workshop that we did with Japan this weekend. And the workshop was working with sacred fire energy from Atlantis, and very much working on releasing a lot of the consciousness around the fall of Atlantis, which seems to be really peeling off us collectively at this time. And what the guide said is that this new cycle is a time of really awakening your inner priest, your inner priestess, your inner priestie, which is the unity gender. And what you have to understand about becoming a priestess or a priest or a priestie of your own life is that you have to understand the power of your own permission. And then they went on to talk about how really the most powerful thing you can do at the moment is just give permission. Give permission for things to leave. Give permission for things to come in. Give permission for this change to happen, because when you do, you come into this state of greater surrender, of greater openness. You engage the power of your free will, and you connect to your own power and your own divinity. And so that's been really useful for me, because obviously when there's lots of space, there's lots of listening, and whenever there's a lot of room for listening, there's a lot of emotion and stuff that comes up. And so being able to just give permission for that stuff to leave, or give permission to myself not to fully understand, and just relax into that, or give permission for these new ideas and these new things to start to come in. And it's really, really changing my vibration and energy body and helping me. And that sense of permission, that sense of ceremony, also feels deeply connected to this feminine awakening that is happening. Ceremony and ritual, and particularly any ceremony that's around boundaries and permission and entering and exiting, feels deeply feminine. And so it feels like this new energy and this new cycle is just beginning to unfold and show itself, and in this very feminine way, which is very slow and very seasonal and very timed. And so I'm sharing with you the insights that I've been getting about it, especially since I have been in Japan. And tonight is the first new moon of this cycle, so it feels very right to be sharing about it now. And the other insight that I wanted to share really is that I realised as I was doing some healing on myself and some deep listening and some deep permitting to let go and to let in. That there was quite a few parts of me that were quite distressed or unsettled or feeling quite insecure and reactive to all of this change that was and is happening so deep inside, and so intimately within my own self and my own consciousness and my own awareness and my path and my own loves. And I realised that these kind of reactions I were having and am having of feeling suddenly flooded with worry or with attention or with a fear or a deep emotion were really just parts of me that were crying out and crying out for some kind of reassurance or love. And it was like one of those breakthrough moments where I was just like, what if I just actually listened? I'd slowed down so much that rather than fighting those parts or being angry at myself for being low vibrational or being egotistical or competitive or all of these things, what if I just actually listened to what these things needed and gave them what they needed to get better? And it was like something woke up in me, an energy woke up in me that has definitely been asleep within me throughout my life. And it was the energy of the divine inner mother, not a goddess energy. I channel lots of goddesses. It wasn't an energy outside of me, it's an energy inside of me, more like an archetype. And by kind of giving myself permission to fully nurture and support myself, this energy woke up in me. And it's obviously a deep feminine divinity. And it's just a part of me that wants to nurture myself in the present. So not necessarily my inner child or my past self or my wounds, just nurture the self that is in the present and really notice everything I'm feeling and understand that those feelings are parts of me that need to receive tenderness or compassion or support or love, because they're parts of me that are really doing a massive amount of growth and change. And so they are calling out just like a baby cries out for milk. They are calling out when they need something in order for that growth to happen. And rather than buying into the story of like, oh, I've gone into this or that, instead I've just been exploring and playing with the idea that maybe every time there's a part of me that's distressed in any way or low vibrational in any way, that part of me could just be given some love, receive some love and care and tenderness and kindness. And it's really allowed me to soften into this process that is energetically happening this month. It feels like it's allowing for a lot of really deep healing. It feels like the Divine Mother is an act of permission in itself. It's like permission to be fully present, permission to listen, permission to express, and permission to love, and love without judgment. And so it feels like a really important energy to awaken within yourself, and that's why I'm sharing about it, because it's really helping me. And I've just seen that basically this space, one of the other pieces of guidance I've had is that we need space to grow. It's like there needs to be space for us to grow into. And that's really what's happening this month. Is it's like the more space we're creating, the more we're allowing ourselves space. And space emotionally, and space physically, and space time-wise, the more room there is for us to expand and grow into. And all of those parts of us that have been contracted and constricted are suddenly able to express, and then they're able to receive what they need, and then they can expand and ascend. And so it's a really, really slowed down process of changing, but one that seems very much about cradling yourself and loving yourself, and holding space for yourself, and holding yourself in space. And I feel called to just share one of the meditations that's working for me and helping me stay in this really vibrational place of peace, in spite of having quite a lot of surges of emotion and quite a lot of deep transitions happening on an emotional and vibrational level because of the Golden Gateway energies of this time. And so let's do it. So when you're ready, closing your eyes and feeling the muscles around your eyes relaxing. As you breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Breathe in love and breathe out gratitude. Really giving yourself permission to breathe, and to breathe into the fullness of your breath, into the intention and relief of your breath. And as you allow yourself to breathe, as you allow yourself to be here, feel the lovely light of Kuan Yin, this maiden mother energy surrounding you, filling your aura with softness and gentleness. Holding space for you as you hold space for yourself. And really opening your heart to the parts of you that are resisting the expansion of this time. And you will feel them. You will feel them as contractions, as tightness, as tensions or clenches of emotion inside and around you, in your energy field, in your aura. And as you focus on these, become aware of the space that is beyond your aura. This is the space of your own potential. a space that you can expand into. And just feel how delicious that potential energy is. How warm it is. And then connecting back to these constrictions, to these resistances. And just give them permission to express. So I'm tuning in, it's like there's just worry coming up and tiredness. It's not always big emotions. It's not always huge stories. And as you give them permission to express, notice that they start to loosen. As you open your heart to your divine inner mother, the part of you that just loves you, that is there just to help you grow. That is there to reassure you and support you and nurture you in every way. A part of you that has no judgment. And really connecting to this energy within yourself that my guides are saying just is awakening in all of us, like a river through our collective consciousness. The Divine Mother's self-love. And you can connect to that river that runs through you and through all of the collective consciousness. Feeling Kuan Yin guiding you to that energy. And as you connect to that energy, listen once again to these parts that are resistant, that are restricted, that are contracted. And just ask them what they need. As you let that Divine Mother energy flow. Towards those contracted parts. Letting the Divine Mother energy give them exactly what they need. Maybe it's just love. Maybe it's just breath. Maybe it's a specific type of love, like kindness. And really allowing yourself to receive, giving yourself permission to receive. This year is so much about receiving. And eventually you experience these contracted parts of you, releasing so that you expand into more of that potential, into that space. beyond what you know of yourself, what you have allowed of yourself. I'm really allowing a state of expansion to arrive. Maybe it's a state of bliss or a state of peace. Just a greater movement, but allowing it to arrive. And giving it permission to thrive. As you breathe in love, feeling that inner Divine Mother flowing. Honouring this time of cradling ourselves. Nurturing ourselves and birthing in ourselves into what we are going to be. Noticing how you feel now. Noticing how you feel. Breathing in love and breathing out gratitude. And when you are ready, opening your eyes. You see it's quick. And it, for me anyway, it changes things really massively, quite quickly. And brings me out of quite a low vibration into a very peaceful high vibration. And so it's a really, really useful technique. Before I end this vlog, my guides are reminding me that in one of my meditations this week I had a message from Mother Mary about judgment, because I was having a lot of judgment come up, and she said that judgment is a way of trying to give up, it's a way of trying to give yourself boundaries. And so allowing the boundaries to, allowing yourself to be held and allowing yourself to have that feeling of being held moves you out of that need to judge yourself and judge your life all the time, because it's giving yourself the Divine Mother boundaries that we're missing from our collective consciousness. And so it's giving yourself that sense of the womb and that sense of being held. And I'm sure I will go into it in more detail in another vlog, because like I said, all of this stuff is just beginning to permeate and open very, very slowly. But that's where I'm at, that's where I feel the collective is at. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you think this video is useful and helpful, then please do share it so that it can reach lots of other people. Loads of love and hugs and blessings and light.